Hello and welcome to the third episode of Let's Talk Video. This is a podcast to chat about all things photography, filmmaking, technology and creativity. I'm Cameron O'Connell and today's guest is my good friend Elliot Vitzthum. Elliot is an Exeter-based photographer and video producer who is currently producing content all over the world. He's a real talented landscape photographer and has an Instagram full of travel content and brand collaborations. If you're a creator on Instagram, you should definitely get in touch. Welcome to the podcast, Elliot.
Yo, how you doing?
How you doing, mate? You good?
Yeah, not too bad. Keeping myself busy, doing what you can do while on lockdown.
Absolutely. So why don't you introduce yourself and tell us what it is that you do?
So I'm El, or Elliot, or Elvitz, or any of the above. I'm a travel photographer and videographer and also do some music photography and videography. I'm 19 next week. I've been shooting full-time content creation for the last year, but I first picked up a camera 5 years ago, and it started from little YouTube videos in my bedroom, and then I've been fortunate enough to travel from quite a young age, so then I just started making my own little travel vlogs. And then from that, I wanted to look more into like the cinematography of everything. And now, 4 years down the line, it's my full-time job. I'm not going to university, and I'm traveling the world shooting for brands. I have no idea how it all kind of fell into place, but it somehow did.
Well, that brings me on to the next question. How did you get into the industry?
It very first started when I wanted to. So I was a YouTuber. Well, I was a YouTuber. I made YouTube videos in my bedroom, just like relatable, like teenage content, and I gained about 10,000 subscribers on YouTube actually. And then I kind of woke up one day and I had like a heavy interest in band videography and mainly band photography, and so I looked at it as like a way to go and see my favorite bands for free. So I started shooting photos for this like online magazine. They were tiny, but it was like my way in on like photo passes and stuff like that. So I saw bands I wanted to see. After begging my dad to drive me when I was like 15, I was like, I want to go and see this band, but like it's work because I'm shooting them, so I'm not just going to a concert. So then I managed to convince him, and then from then like my work like bettered as a photographer, and then I sat down with my dad. I was like, look, like I want to do this like as a job. And I remember him saying to me, at the moment, the way technology's going, more and more people are becoming photographers. Try looking at video. So that's when I was like, Dad, you don't know what you're talking about, like a typical teenager. I was like, I know best. And then like 4 months down the line, I was like, yo, this video thing's kind of fun, you know. And now like I shoot way more video than I do photo, strictly because like it's just, for me, it's way more creative. Like with a photo, like you take it, you edit it, you post it, it's done. Whereas like for me, like I'll plan. So the video I did a video with a bank called Bunk in London.
Okay. And
in the space of a week, I got the campaign confirmed. I spent 12 hours straight, like an all-nighter, planning the video and all the locations around London with like a shooting schedule and everything. Woke up the next day at 6 a.m, shot the video all day, and edited 3 days straight afterwards, and it was done by the end of the week. And I found that workflow so much nicer than just taking a photo, editing it, posting it multiple times with multiple photos, because I could like see an idea that I visioned in my head and go through the whole process with it, and then to see it at the end, and then to have a client say like, yo, this is sick. It's like, it just feels like it's come more from me rather than me just taking a photo, editing it and posting it, or taking a photo, editing it and sending it, because it tells a story. Like, and especially with video, you can interpret it in so many different ways.
Yeah, so there's so many more techniques that you can pull into video, whether it's pace or whether it's sound effects or soundtrack. Yeah, man, I totally agree.
And I think video as well, like, I mean, the more I looked into it, it started to fascinate me a lot more, because I can't remember who it was. I think it might have been Taylor Cut Films. He made a video a while ago, like I'm talking like 2 years ago, I think. Okay. And he broke down like how the brain processes any video you watch. And this is why I actually use so much sound design in my videos now. The brain actually processes audio before it processes visuals.
Oh, okay.
So then when I found
So
out that, I was
have
like,
you-
it's way more complicated than just
Yeah,
a video. It's like layers to the video. Whereas a photo, like, you can only watch it, like, you only take it in through your eyes.
Does it make you jealous of photographers though, how quickly they can turn around content?
A little bit. Because I'm like, yo, like, you can snap a photo. Sometimes even, like, Wi-Fi it over to your phone, edit it on your phone and post it. But then I'm like, my main goal is, like, I want to have my turnaround for, like, video as quick as some photographers. And sometimes I do.
Good,
especially the music stuff I do. So I filmed at Ultra Europe last year, and I filmed a 60-second loop video for the Chainsmokers, and that was edited, so it's shot. So they went on at, I think it was 3 a.m, came off stage at 4:30. I went straight back to where I was staying, stayed up all night editing it, and then sent it to their drummer at 4 p.m. the next day.
Oh, that's pretty
before
good,
I went back into the festival and shot again.
Yeah, man, like, this is totally an idea I've kind of toyed with in the past, that because I'm not that great with turnaround time, or at least I want to improve, but some jobs this year I either edit while I'm on location, or I've toyed with the idea about bringing an editor with me.
Yeah.
So they can be editing and compiling the actual project while I'm shooting it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like swapping cards throughout the day, so that they're more or less, as the day finishes, you have a video that you can show the client or show a band in that example.
Yeah. Because, like, it's one of them things as well, and you'll relate to this as well. Like, you know when you finished up shooting, like, a day on set, and, like, 3 hours, like, you've just got home, you've just had a shower, you've sat down, and your phone goes off. They're like, have you looked at the footage yet? And it's like...
Yeah.
Whereas if you can just, like, get it turned around, not like a, look, this is a little bit of what I've done, just be like, a few hours later, be like, right, bam, video done, there you go.
Yeah, it's almost like I need to be strict with myself in that even if I just, like, pull out all the best shots of the day at the end of the day, it can save you so much time in editing, right?
Yes, for sure. And as well, like...
Why don't we go back to what you were telling me about your YouTube channel? Tell me, are you still using that channel today?
Yes, it is actually the same YouTube channel. So I went under a complete rebrand. I didn't want to make a new channel because I had 10,000 subscribers. I was like, oh, I look like I've already like built a fan base. Completely disregarding the fact that that entire account is inactive now. Like, none of them watch my videos. But I just rebranded the whole channel and I just started posting on there. And then, I don't know what it was, but I just started making shorter length content, which I just push out on Instagram. Like, I'd go on a day shoot and the video wasn't quite long enough to put on YouTube, but then it wasn't like an Instagram story thing, so I started putting videos up on my feed, and then I saw that that one blonde kid used to do the video every third post, and like I saw how much video was like popping off on Instagram, and I was like, maybe I'm just going to post on Instagram for a bit, because this was at the same time, like, the brush YouTuber was like, you do stupid stuff like Logan Paul, and I was like, I don't want it. I don't want to be painted with the same brush. I am not a YouTuber.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying.
Like, I'm a content creator, so I put my stuff out on Instagram and occasionally put stuff on YouTube. Whereas now I think it's very much changing, especially with there's a few people I've noticed. So Mitchell Mullins and Sam Newton, I think it is, post more on YouTube than they do on Instagram. But the following from YouTube translates to Instagram much better than the following from Instagram translating to YouTube. No one seems to know why, but it just does.
That's interesting, yeah. I mean, you know, like, I think to find an audience on YouTube, it's probably a lot harder than it is to find an audience on Instagram.
Oh yeah, I just don't understand how to find an audience on YouTube. Because like Instagram, you've got hashtags, you've got suggested, you've got stuff like this. Whereas on YouTube, you've just got a blank channel and you put a video on it, and like how it baffles me is how that video gains traction in the first place. Because if you're posting to it's like putting something in an empty room and expecting someone to come into the room and watch it. It's like, how does it build that in the first place in order for it to grow. Whereas Instagram, you have hashtags, you've got the explore page, you've got all sorts. Like someone's video that they post on a channel with 10 subscribers isn't going to end up on the YouTube explore page because you've got massive corporations posting on YouTube. Whereas with Instagram, it's like it's chosen to what you like.
Yeah. No, I hear what you're saying. And like, you know, Instagram and Facebook and platforms like that, you already have like a very small following just from your mates and the people you grew up with and perhaps a few clients, right? So you've got those sort of like pathways that connect you to others around the world. But YouTube, like you said, it's just an empty room where the chances of someone stumbling across your video is so slim. Yeah.
But then even then, like you see videos that will come up in your suggested that are like 5 years old and they're popping off like for no reason. You read the comments and everyone's like, why is this coming up in my suggested 5 years down the line? It's like the more you think you've understood the YouTube algorithm, it's just like, why does it throw up random videos? Like there was a video a while ago that came up in my suggested, which was like this kid was like camping outside his house in the snow and there was like a snowstorm and he was showing us his tent and everything. The video's got like 5 million views. It's like, it was posted in like 2010. But then like, it was like last year, it like popped off massively. It's like, why? Like, what made it pop off? Like, it just did.
That's it, yeah. I guess the YouTube algorithm is constantly changing, right? It's, you know, I hear creators when they speak about it, they'll share their knowledge on what they've found works and the way it works, and then people at YouTube will then comment back and they'll be like, that's not a thing, but that's interesting that you found that does work.
Yeah,
but yeah, that's cool, man. I hadn't seen your YouTube channel.
You what, sorry?
Sorry, after you. I hadn't seen your YouTube channel, but
it's just mainly my old work.
If you're still using it, man, I'd love to check it out. Yeah,
I'm gonna post more on there. Like that is the goal, but it's just like breaking out of the shorter length content mold. Because like when I'm shooting, I know like how I'm gonna piece it together. I'm good at like the shorter length, bang, bang, bang. Here's a 15-second Instagram story edit to back up the 1 minute one I just posted. Whereas with YouTube, it's like it can be anything from like 3 minutes to 30 minutes. And I'm like, where do I know when enough is enough? Because like with a 1 minute video, you know when you've finished. Like you can sit back at the video and think, if I put anything else into this, I've overdone it. Whereas with YouTube, you don't have that restriction of how long it can be, so it's so easy to take something great and drag it out, and then it's nowhere near as good as it was when it was concise.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like I'm really into long form content.
I want to get into it.
I'd say
bad,
yeah, like in the way I create and in the way that I consume.
Yeah.
Like I watch a lot of YouTube, to be fair, and when I can find like an hour-long documentary about, I don't know, the Sony FS9, right?
Yeah.
Sony's new cinema camera. I love it because I can sit down like it's a feature film, you know. And YouTube is my only platform that I really consume. I mean, I watch a bit of Netflix every now and again with my girlfriend and like when we sit down for dinner. But other than that, I don't watch Netflix. I don't watch Amazon. I just YouTube is my only platform.
See, I think a lot of the content I consume is very like, it ranges from like 1 minute Instagram to like 15 minutes tops on YouTube.
Okay.
And I don't understand why. Like especially like if I'm scrolling through Instagram on YouTube and I find a video that like piques my interest, if I see that it's like an hour long, I won't watch it because I'm just like, I don't know if I can sit through this all the way. Not as in like physically sit through it, but like I feel like I'll just get bored and I'll pick up my phone and I'll start looking through Instagram, and then you're actually taking in the content on Instagram, not what you actually sat down to watch.
I think if I'm going to YouTube to find, like, say I need to find how to do a specific thing in Premiere Pro or Photoshop, then yes, I will look for the shortest video that will give me that 2-minute video that just hits the nail on the head. Like, right, press Command V and Command T, done. But I often just have YouTube sat in the background while I'm doing other things.
Yeah.
So the longer I can find a piece of content, the less I have to find new content to watch or listen to. It's kind of like podcasts, I guess, or in that sense.
See, I think for me, like, whenever I'm sat down doing something, it's always music for me. Like, I can't watch something and do something, because I'll do one or the other. Because I think the last time I sat down to watch something while doing something, it was I watched Six Underground on Netflix, the Michael Bay film with Ryan Reynolds, the one that I put on my Instagram story a while ago and I like raved about for a week. I sat down because my dad told me about it. He was like, "Watch this film, like you'll like it." And I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be asked to sit and watch like a 2-hour film. I was like, I'll just put it on in the background while I'm editing. Bro, I got no editing done. I got no editing done whatsoever. So now it's just like I can only listen to music and edit. I can't do anything else.
Fair play, man. Well, yeah, I think that kind of makes sense to why you have such a quick turnaround, because you can produce shorter form content in a sense.
Yeah.
But, I think that's helping you. So
especially TikTok.
Tell me about your involvement with Boosted Board. I think that's a pretty impressive client to have.
They are the sickest guys to work with. So when I was in LA just after my 18th birthday, it was in May last year, and so I went out there with gnEJY. We just went out there to like have a good time. We both wanted to go out there. I got a few like little brand deals to just get the whole thing paid for. So it was just it was mainly me just going out there, like meeting a few content creators that I've known for a while, meeting up with the movement team. Just like, it wasn't like a specific brand trip, but like it was covered by things I shot like now and again while I was there. And towards the end of that trip, oh wait, no, I'm actually missing out. Wait, hang on, right. So rewind. So it's the UK tour. It's the UK tour that I'm on in March with Turno. And I was in Selfridges looking at a booster board in Birmingham.
Oh, okay.
And I get a call from him saying, look, I've just arrived, like, I'll meet you at the hotel. So I go back to the hotel, I'm sat scrolling through my laptop, and I get an email, like, you cannot make this up, I get an email from Boosted's PR team saying, we want to work with you on a social media campaign. I shit you not, after an hour of looking at nearly buying the board in Selfridges.
Oh, okay.
So I got this email.
How did they...
I have no idea.
How did they get in contact?
I have
no idea how they found you?
No idea how they found me. So then I replied, heard nothing back. I was like, oh, that like, it's a bummer, but like, it is what it is. So then, back to LA, I did the whole LA trip, like it was sick, and while I was there, my friend Connor actually got 2 boards sent out for me and Ollie, because he already worked with Boosted. So we're doing that, and that was fine. So we'd shot content with the booster boards just like while we were there, because they gave us free boards, and that was it. So then, towards the end of that trip, me and Ollie get an email about a Europe campaign that they wanted to do. Obviously, their guy Connor in LA couldn't do it because he was in LA. So they email us and said, look, these are locations we need doing. Like, which ones would you like to do? So I was like, yeah, I'll do Barcelona. Ollie did Paris. And then I told Connor about it, and Connor ended up getting involved. So Boosted flew out 3 weeks after coming back from LA. Boosted flew me and Connor out to Barcelona to shoot the Boosted Rev, Boosted Mini X, and Boosted Stealth, and Ollie to Paris with someone he flew out with him. Okay. And then, so we shot all that content. That went down really well. I posted it, they posted it, they did their campaign, like that was that. And then I think when I went to Toronto in September with Collective Bikes, there was an issue with the bikes. They never arrived in time. But the riders I went out with took their bikes. So they were riding on their bikes, and there was a line of bikes we needed to shoot. And one of them got held back, which was my bike, so I couldn't get anywhere. So I emailed the Booster team. I was like, look, I'm in Toronto. I have no way of getting around. Like, can you get a board to me? I'll shoot free content for you. Like, I just need to be able to get around. So they sent me another board. So this is my 3rd board by this point.
Okay.
So I shot content for them then. And then from that, it's just been like an ongoing... Well, it was like an ongoing, like, backwards and forwards. Like, hey, like, if you shoot me a board, I'm here. Like, I need to get around. Like, I'll shoot content for you. And then, unfortunately, like... a month and a half ago, I found out that due to the trade wars and tariff wars with China and the US, they've actually gone out of business, which was like, sucked for me, but like, it is what it is, what can you do? But the relationship I had with them was like, it was amazing. Like, I could just shoot them a message like, yo, like, I need this, and then it was fine, and then I just shot content for them.
So the boards that they sent you out, did they let you keep the boards?
Yeah. So I just flew them back from where I was, and then I just got to keep them.
Oh, amazing.
I'm
so jealous, man. Like,
and it was paid as well. So the Barcelona trip, they paid for the trip, and paid me and Connor, and we got to fly the board home. I'm still baffled as to how Connor took his board home, because I flew mine. Like, because when I was in LA the first time, I actually shipped it home because I was too scared. I didn't want to lose it in customs. Man. And then when I was in Barcelona, I couldn't find the tools to take the battery off, so I was like, oh, fine. I just left it in the apartment.
Oh man!
It was the end of the shoot. Me and Connor then ended up going out to a club. We got very drunk, celebrating that the whole campaign was done. I then checked my phone. No, my mum rang me. So it's 3 a.m. My mum rang me. She's like, your flight leaves in 2 hours. Where are you? I was like, great. I'm in a club. I'm in a club, drunk. I haven't packed anything. So we jumped in the taxi, went straight back to the Airbnb, packed everything. I just grabbed my board and jumped in the taxi. I went through the airport perfectly fine, no questions asked about the board whatsoever. Put in the overhead compartment on the flight, and I just passed out. It was perfectly fine. Flew it home, no questions asked.
Oh man!
With the battery attached and everything. And then when I was in Toronto, again, I took the battery off this time, put the battery in my hand luggage. This was a long haul flight, and then put the board in the box it came in, wrapped it in cling wrap, and then just checked it in, and then it was fine then as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think
but how Connor got his board from Barcelona to LA with the battery on the plane, I will never know. Like, it wasn't even checked in. It was a long one. He took the Stealth. I had the Mini X.
Yeah. I think you either just have to get unlucky with airport security.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I've flown my booster board to Mallorca, Barcelona, and the Isle of Man.
Yeah.
On some of the smallest little planes. Obviously, the Mini is a little bit easier to, like, convince people to get through. But yeah, like, normally the problem is that any, like, sports equipment needs to be checked in.
Yeah.
But the way I've always got around that is I explain that it has a battery and can't be checked in because you can't check in batteries.
See, every time I've said that it has a battery, like, every time I've researched it, like, if you say you have a battery, they won't let it on. Because they're like, in the rules of a lot of airlines, it's like, remember when them hoverboards, like Swagway things, start blowing up? They've literally got like no motorized vehicles unless it's like a mobility scooter. So I was like, well, I can't turn around and say it's got a battery on it because I can't take it on the flight at all. So like, I'd put the battery in my bag and just say, so when I went through customs, they were like, this battery's huge, like, why do you need it? I'm like, it charges my laptop. And they just looked at it and I was like, it's a laptop charger.
Yeah, I mean, I believe what they're actually meant to do is, like, airport security are only meant to allow certain size batteries through. So if it's over a certain watt hour, which is why the standard range is 99 watt hours, airlines shouldn't let it on. But it's such a gamble, man. Like, I've seen videos of Casey getting his board confiscated full stop.
Yeah, like the whole board.
Yeah,
that's what scared me. I would be bricking it going through security. I'm like, don't take my board, don't take my board.
That's it, man. Yeah, but then I've had friends that have flown to, like, the States with, like, the Mini X, the extended range battery, right?
Well, Fun for Louie's flown with a V2 Plus, like, extended range, full battery attached, overhead luggage. Like, he's pushed it to the gate. And I'm like, hang on a minute, how? I couldn't get a normal longboard on, let alone a friggin' booster board.
Yeah, I mean, when I was in Mallorca, I got through airport security fine, but I think, like, just as I was leaving, one of them asked me about the board, and I was like, yeah, it's, like, got a battery, it's got this, it's got that. And they very almost took it off me, but if they were going to, I had the tool with me, so I was just going to dismantle the whole thing.
Yeah.
Have all the parts in my bag, to the point where it's just a bit of wood. Like, how are they going to stop you bringing a bit of wood on the plane? I don't know. Like,
bro, I find it crazy.
Especially with the Mini, because,
like, some things that you can bring on a plane. Like, I watched a video the other day where this guy, he had a load of crabs in a case, in, like, this sealed box, and it was going around the luggage carousel, and it broke open, and all these crabs are, like, running around luggage claim. So you can do that, Like you can't take an electric skateboard. Nah.
Or I think it's like, if you actually look at like the policy, they'll always say no.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's funny that you managed to get them through on the ad campaign.
It's the last time.
So
last time I'm gonna fly with them though. Like I wanted to take my
Yeah.
gnEJY to Croatia with me when I did Sail Week, so I was there for 4 weeks.
Yep.
And it would have been so ideal. I was like, I just can't risk it.
I think like, well, what I've done in the past is just buy yourself a standard range battery. And bring that. Like the board itself, you shouldn't have any issues. I mean, maybe the longboard style a bit harder.
Yeah, because I don't have my gnEJY anymore.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So now I've only got the longboard. So now I'm just like,
Fair play.
maybe I'll just take a normal skateboard.
So yeah, moving on. Tell me about what you love and hate about our industry.
See, I love the fact that it has the potential to bring so many people together, like around the world. But then at the same time, it can also be like it can just be an absolute free for all. Like people standing on top of each other to get to a different place and stuff like that. Like I've had people who I thought were friends like use me to try and make something of them, and then it's like backfired. And at the same time, like some of my best friends have come from this job. Like the relationship I have with Ollie, and like how I can just message him and be like, yo, do you want to fly here? And we'll be like, yeah, he'll book a flight from his local airport, I'll book a flight from my local airport, and then we'll meet there like the following week. That's what happened with
That's
LA.
cool, man.
It was crazy. And then but sometimes it's like people just see value of you rather than in you. They see you as a way to get something rather than a way to do something together.
Okay. Do you mean other creators or?
Yeah.
clients?
Other creators. So like, especially, I noticed this especially when I was in college. That's when my Instagram like started to take off, and like people would surround themselves with me more because of that rather than who I actually was. They'd see, oh, like I want to get into this, so if I'm around him and I go on shoots with him, I'm seen around him, I can learn from him. Like I don't have a problem with like people learning from other content creators, like that's fine. But then when you've learned everything and then something big happens for that person you've learned off, and you just say, oh, like I'm jealous it wasn't me, like you don't deserve it, I deserve it, that's when it like gets really toxic. That happened to me. There was an artist I ended up shooting back in 2018, and it's an artist that my friend was a really big fan of. And so after I shot them, he like went so sour. He was like, yeah, like you didn't do that, like you just took your camera and just took photos anyway, like you didn't have the accreditation to do that. I was like,
Sorry?
no, but I was just like, how did I get my camera in here? Like if you genuinely believe you can rock up to any festival with a DSLR and a camera bag full of lenses and a drone and get in, like no. Like I had the accreditation, like, I had the passes and everything. It was like, no, like you didn't do it. And like from that, like the whole thing just went sour, like because it was annoying, because like I saw, as a friend, like I saw potential in him like as a creator, and I was like, this is a guy like I'd love to have around, and like we could do trips, like it'd be great to like shoot with him and we could work on something really good. But then just like through jealousy of me doing something that he also wanted to do, like the whole thing just flipped on its head.
Okay.
And I just feel like it's so easy to compare yourself to people in the industry without knowing how much they've put into it, especially from a social media standpoint, because like as much as our jobs, like my job anyway, depends on social media a lot, because I do a lot of shorter form content, I also don't like social media that much. Just because it's like, it swings and roundabouts. It's like, it can be really, really good in one area, but it can be just as bad in another area. So it's a really good platform to put your work out and get discovered. But then the more you get discovered, the people who are around you start to doubt you and see you as only doing something for clout or only caring about one particular thing. And it's like, I don't know, I just feel like people will only show an interest if it betters them. They just see you as an opportunity rather than seeing you as a person who can bring value but equally is their own person. It's like there was a phase where like a lot of the people who I thought were friends with, like they started referring to me as Elvitz. Like, oh, Elvitz, how you doing? Like, no, Elvitz is my brand. Like, I'm a videographer and my brand is Elvitz. Like, I'm Elliot. I'm L. Like, I don't want to talk about travel videography all the time. Like, I don't want to go on shoots all the time. Like, I'm down to like go out with my friends and get pissed up. Like, I didn't care. Yeah. But it always just boiled down to just work all the time. And that's when I saw it. It's like, why is that all these people would talk about? They'd like try and like fish stuff out of me. Yeah. And it's like, bro, like we're sat in spoons having a pint. Like,
I guess the last thing I want to talk about is they know. Yeah, like if it's all they know and all they have in common, that's kind of the only conversation they can come up with.
Yeah.
That's all I can think of in that. But yeah, I mean, I guess like it comes down to like at what point does Instagram just become one huge advert for everything?
Yeah, literally. Like, I don't know, people believe social media and just Instagram, they see an Instagram feed and believe that is exactly what someone's life is. They don't see like the hard work behind videos, the hard work that gets you in this tropical place shooting a video for said brand.
Yeah, there's that, and like
they just see it as it's just, oh, like this guy's flown this place, like why is that not me? They don't see like the sleepless nights editing a video. It's like I say to a lot of people like my
so
childhood,
much more behind the scenes.
Yeah, like I say to a lot of people that my childhood and my teenage years kind of ended when I first decided I wanted to take videography seriously, because I understood how much of a competitive industry it was. So like I 16 like I wasn't drinking, I wasn't going out, like I was a workaholic, like non-stop. I was working at Tesco's to pay for my equipment and working part-time freelancing, to the point where when I left college I could go full-time, but everyone was like, oh, like you're just not going to uni and you're a videographer. And it's like, well, no. Like I didn't go out and party when I was 16. Like I didn't go to house parties, I didn't do what the typical 16-year-old would do. I focused on what I wanted to do. So now when I'm 18 I can go out and get pissed up if I want to, because I know that I'm still working as hard. But now I'm 18, I have more opportunities than I did when I was 16. I put in the graph then when there was things I couldn't do, whereas now when opportunities can fly my way, I'm like, yeah, I'll take it. But no one sees that.
Yeah, there's so much behind the scenes that people don't see.
Literally.
And for like in my case, like for every one job that I share that might be a travel job or somewhere exotic,
yeah,
there's 50 corporate events that I wouldn't dream of sharing in some element, because there's no point. Like it wouldn't interest people.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I get your point that there's a lot more to it, and people, they can sometimes they see you as a brand instead of a person, and that's a shame.
Yeah, and as well, like especially one thing I noticed, and I got a message on Instagram like a few weeks ago, and it was this guy messaged me. He was like some like American like 18-year-old, like clearly wanted to be a videographer but didn't know how to go about it. And he was like, how can I get to where I am without having daddy's trust fund? I was like, no, he was like, how can I get to where you are without having daddy's trust fund? I was like, bro, everything I've done, like, yeah, my parents have helped me, but they haven't financially like, bought all my equipment, bought my plane tickets. Like, they've guided me and they've been there where I've needed it, but there is no trust fund. Like, I haven't woken up, wanted to be a videographer, bought a 1DX. Like, I shot stuff on a GoPro and worked my way up. Like, I built a client base. He's like, oh, you've got like all these nice shoes. You shoot on a $4,000 camera. I was like, well, the camera's a tool. That. Like that pays for itself. It's an investment at the end of the day. You get that money back. And then everything else is like that's just what I've bought because I like it. Like, there is no daddy's trust fund. But it just seems to think people just assume that it's just got handed to you when it really hasn't.
Yeah, and say like it was handed to you, right? Say, you know, your parents bought you a Red and they paid for every trip around the globe.
Doesn't make you a good videographer.
It's still fucking hard work.
Yeah.
It's so, like, even just carrying that gear with you.
Yeah, literally.
And then, like, editing it. Like, I don't think the gear or even, like, the travel or anything given to you guarantees you any.
And you've still got to be good at using it. Like, for example, hypothetically, if someone bought me a Red now, they're like, there you go, like, you can have it, you can shoot. Bro, I don't know how to use a Red. Like, I've never used a Red. I don't know how to do it. I would still go back to my 1DX.
In ways, yeah.
Because that's what I know.
In ways, it would slow you down. So it's like, what's the point?
Yeah.
I know what you mean. But yeah, man, that's such a blinding way of looking at what we do. It's like, oh, well, they've got that camera. It's like, don't make any difference. Like, honestly, if someone handed me a 6D or a 5D Mark II or, I don't know, a GH3 or some old camera, the foundations of what I do wouldn't change all that much.
Yeah.
You know, the image might suffer slightly, but would only be the smallest amount, you know? Like, it's just the way I like to shoot, and I use the tools that I'm comfortable with using and I enjoy using. Yeah.
Because, like, for example, the reason I use a 1DX isn't even because of, like, 4K 60 and all of that. It's because I kept breaking A7Ss. I kept breaking A7Ss. You can't break a 1DX. I bought a 1DX strictly because of how robust it is. And everyone's like, oh, like, do you not shoot in 4K 60? I'm like, no, because I don't need 4K 60. Like, I've never shot with it before, so why do I need it now? and that.
Well, that brings me on to my next question, which was, how do you find the 1DX, and will you upgrade to either the 1DX3 or the Canon R5 when it is available?
The Canon R5 is seriously tickling my fancy, I must say. Like, the specs on that look outrageous. However, Canon are very, very good at saying something is going to be incredible and then limiting it massively. So, like, right now, everyone's like, yo, this camera's crazy. But I'd put a solid bet on the camera not being as good as it's currently being made out to be.
There has to be some sort of catch.
Like 8K 60, right. Bro, we don't even have 5K 60 in Canon cameras yet. We don't even have 6K 60 in Canon cameras yet. Why do you think they're going to have 8K 60 without some sort of catch?
That and 8K 60 would be literally like terabytes of footage. Like
bro, the 1DX 4K 60. I'm too scared to even touch. I financially can't afford to shoot 4K 60.
I know.
It's like, why do I want 8K?
I mean, I don't. Yeah, I don't delete any footage.
Me neither.
Because I know that I'll always come back to it at some point and thank myself.
Yeah.
And I'm on my 31st terabyte, and the idea of like a 8K codec in the Canon R5.
I'd need to buy a new Mac.
Actually, you do, absolutely.
So not only would you then buy a new camera, you buy a new Mac to be able to edit the 8K footage. You then buy better cards that can handle 8K footage, which you then back up onto new hard drives that you're buying all the time.
You know how expensive those CFast Express cards are going to be?
Ridiculous.
But if Canon are Canon, and when they make a change to a certain type of media, they stick to it.
Yeah.
Which I can appreciate. So I know that buying these expensive cards now, the CFast Express, I know that in 10 years it will probably still be the same. Or 5 years probably. 5 years of Canon cameras will all use the same card. Which I can appreciate.
But again, like I said about me shooting social media content, why do I need 8K if I'm putting a video on Instagram?
You don't.
Like, unless I want to warp stabilize some serious stuff and crop in far, I think I'm good.
But to be honest, like, the 8K element of the camera doesn't interest me.
Yeah.
But what does interest me is it has a 45 megapixel sensor.
Yes, that interests
for
me.
stills, because I can see value in megapixels for stills.
Yeah.
Because like I've got friends that shoot on the A7R, which is like 51 or 61. I think the R3 is even more. And they don't bother with like telephoto lenses anymore because they just shoot everything at 50. Crop 800%. It's totally usable.
That's crazy.
And they're good to go.
See, I've done that with that's the only time I've used 4K 60. So I was shooting a music awards show, and I was doing some stuff for a clothing line that was the main sponsor there. And AJ Tracy won a load of the awards that this brand was sponsoring. And I wanted to get shots of him without being invasive, because obviously like it's AJ Tracey, like he had a lot of security around him, he had his boys around him.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not saying rappers and grime artists come across as aggressive, however, I was slightly intimidated by him. He hadn't done anything, like I'm sure he's the nicest guy, but I was like, I don't want to get like in the wrong way at this, so I was like kept a distance, shot a 4K 60, like I shot like through people, so it looked cool, but then I used that like extra crop just to make it noticeable that it was him, because I think that same night like a photographer went up to take a photo and he was so rude, and like AJ just shut him down, and I heard about it and I was like, yo, like I'm keeping my distance. Like I don't want to. He's already gone for a photographer. Like I'm gonna just take a step back, and that's the only time I used 4K 60 like since getting that camera.
Yeah, I mean the 4K on the 1DX is crippled. Like it's impossible to play back. It's more or less impossible to edit. I mean, I've edited it in the past, but it's the quality that you get out of it for the amount of work it takes to process it. It's just not worth it. Which is why I bought the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera alongside my 1DX, because I can shoot 4K RAW on an SD card. And it plays back like smoother than ever. Yeah. With a decent bit rate. So, but yeah, I think the Canon R5. I think Canon will cripple it somehow. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe like they'll
no audio.
No audio, or like for some reason it won't contain the Canon color science. Yeah. That it will just be like.
Or it'll have really bad rolling shutter. You know, like Sony did when they first brought out 4K. The A7S rolling shutter was... Oh
man, yeah. That's something people forget about, the rolling shutter of an image. Yeah. And I think that's the main difference between cinema cameras and DSLRs. Is that they don't have a global shutter. Like some do, some don't. But yeah, rolling shutter makes a massive difference. See,
like that's what I like about the 1DX, because I used a lot of whip transitions, and on my A7S, like I'd whip, and the whole like image would go like that, and I'm like, it's not ideal, but it's like during the whip, like, it's fine, I don't care. But it's like I whip, and I don't stop. I like whip and slow down, and you can see the image go like that. Whereas on the 1DX, it's like it's fine. Like there is a little bit, but like you'd expect it. Whereas my A7S was just horrendous.
And those types of issues in a camera, you can never put your finger on what it is. Yeah. But when you see it, you see it. Yeah. You might not know what it is, but yeah.
And as for the 1DX Mark III, I don't think it's worth the price. Yeah. I will not be moving to it.
I know what you mean.
Just because I remember the first time I picked it up, and like all I noticed was it has in-body stabilization, which looks like warp stabilizer. It's like, I can do that myself. And it's got like a little touchpad thing on the back.
Yeah, I mean, having shot on the 1D series I bought the 1DC in 2015, I think. Yeah. So I've more or less shot every generation of the 1D, video cameras. I think like they more or less did give us everything we wanted. Like they got rid of that motion JPEG codec. They gave us the...
See, I liked the motion JPEG codec.
What, for the still frame grab element?
The first time I noticed it was actually before I got my 1DX. It's when I was in Barcelona shooting for Boosted. We were shooting photo and video. Yeah. And there was a day we forgot to take photos. So we're like, well, we shot in 4K 60. So I just like took the grabs from that, and it actually looked decent for social media.
Yeah, I mean it's been useful a handful of times in the 5 years that I've owned the 1D. But yeah, I don't think the motion JPEG, for how hard it is to edit, it's not worth the stills element. But yeah, 1D3. So that little control dial they gave us, I haven't tried it. I haven't touched the 1D3 yet, but I like the idea that I can be operating the camera and controlling the focus point without like having to touch the screen. Yeah. Or nudge something. I mean, I used the nipple in the past on the 1D2, but it's just a bit slow, and like But yeah, I'm open to the idea of that little touch button.
Yeah, I think it's sick. I just don't think it's worth, like, because I picked my 1DX up for... So I picked up my 1DX with 2 batteries, 2 CFast cards, and a silicon case for £3,200.
Yeah, I think they did price it a bit too high, but you've also got to consider the grey market price and the used price,
true.
maybe in a year or so. Because I mean, the grey market.
But at the same time, if they've gone and done that with the 1DX3 and that's 6,500, how much is the R5 going to be?
Yeah, that is a question. Yeah, because it's going to have to.
Because I'm expecting that to be more than the 1DX3.
No, I don't think it will.
Which is putting it into like. See, I'm just looking at it from like a specs value.
Well, I mean, the 1DX3 is probably more aimed at the stills photographers, right? That want a bit of video, but the majority of what they do is stills. Because the R5, while it can do the 20 frames a second in live view, you can't have it with the mirror, I don't think.
Yeah, well, it's mirrorless.
Not the mirror, sorry, the shutter. There we go. And there's so many issues when it comes to taking a photo without the shutter, because the electronic shutter, you get like warp stabilizer. Sorry, not warp stabilizer. You get the jello effect. What were we just talking about? Rolling shutter.
The rolling shutter.
You get rolling shutter in your photos, and for a sports shooter, you wouldn't want it. Anything fast or anything that moves from A to B, it would be a no-go.
Yeah.
But, it's cool that it's able to do it. But, But the
one thing I did notice, though, to be fair, when I moved from my A7S to the 1DX, everyone was like, Elliot, you shoot loads of concerts, like, this is a bad idea, like, you're touring with DJs where it's dark venues, like, it's a bad idea.
Yeah.
Nah. If anyone has any skepticism as to whether or not to get or not get the 1DX down to its low light, I have had 0 issues with my 1DX in low light.
Really?
At all, compared to my A7S. If not, sometimes better, because the colours are still reproduced nicer.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean,
I have had much better experience shooting shows on my 1DX than I have on my A7S.
Yeah, fair
and
enough.
That's supposed to be the low light god.
And I think like the idea of it being an autofocus camera, the fact that it has autofocus, it's just a no-brainer to me, because the A7S II, the autofocus was terrible.
Oh yeah, and I didn't even use native lenses either, because I bought my A7S knowing
no
I was
one
going
ever
to get
does.
1DX.
All the Sony shooters I know, they can't afford the Sony glass, so they adapt some old Canon glass to it. And then
I think someone said to me it was because a lot of travel people didn't do it because the lenses are focused by wire.
That's also
so
an
if you
issue,
drop it, like, it just breaks really easily.
So what I found was all the Sony shooters back in the day, I mean, even some today, their footage was out of focus. The colours were whack because it's Sony. And I mean, I don't know. Some people, they really do. If you know what you're doing.
Some people absolutely crush Sony colours.
They do, man. Yeah. If you know what you're doing,
and I'll look at it and I'll just be like, wow.
If you know what you're doing, and you can color grade, you can shoot on any camera. It doesn't matter. But
because I'm looking at learning DaVinci Resolve at the moment.
Yeah, me too, man. I'm
tempted.
I've even got the license for it because it came with the back.
See, I'm just sat here. I'm like, I have time. What do I want to learn?
Yeah. Every time I open it up, I'm like, okay, this is like a space. This is like the cockpit of like a rocket. Like, I have no idea what I'm looking at here.
See, at the moment, I'm learning FPV, and when I first jumped into that, I was like, this isn't like a cockpit of a rocket. This is like building a rocket.
Yeah, true. FPV drones. Yeah. How far have you got with that?
So I'm pretty deep into the simulators. Like, I'm confident flying on simulators.
Cool.
I'm picking up the TBS Tango 2 remote soon to then fly with the remote. Because you can, there's a simulator you can get on Steam and you can use a PlayStation remote. So, like, to get the actual bare basics of it, you can use that. and then I'll transfer all of that over to the remote. And then as I get comfortable with the remote, that's when I'm going to order all of the parts and then build it.
That's cool, man. Yeah, I mean, FPV drones.
I am not looking forward to the build.
They're such a unique look. Like it's a style of shot that you couldn't achieve in any other way.
Yeah.
But what I would wonder is like, even just as like a drone operator and like a drone owner with the Mavic Pro 2, I use that so little. I don't know how I could justify an FPV drone that probably gets used even less. How do you feel on that?
I'm learning FPV to replace my Mavic.
Okay, cool.
And just because, like, I don't know, it works out cheaper. Like, you crash a Mavic, you gotta buy a new Mavic.
Yeah.
You crash an FPV drone, like, you've broken a motor, you've broken this on the circuit board, you've broken, like, a bit of the frame. You buy a new frame, 30 quid. You buy a new motor, 20 quid for 2.
Right.
You buy a few new wires, you solder it together. It costs 50 quid to repair it. You fly it, you absolutely obliterate it into a wall again.
You buy another,
Oops.
yeah.
I'll rebuy all the parts again and I'll do it again. But like you're paying like 50 to 70 quid to repair a bad crash.
I love how crashing.
Like worst case scenario, you lose your GoPro.
Yeah, true.
But then that's the GoPro. That's not the drone.
I love how crashing a drone to you is like a normal thing to do.
No, crashing FPV is.
Yeah, I guess it would be. Yeah.
But crashing a Mavic, like I can't remember the last time I crashed mine. I've never crashed my Mavic Pro 2.
I've never crashed a drone.
I crashed my Mavic Air a few times because I thought I was Sam Calder and could fly through the gaps this big when the drone's this big. But other than that, like.
That's funny, man. Yeah, I've never crashed a drone before. I've come close a lot of times.
I just get ballsy with shots. I think I can do shots that I can't on a Mavic Air, on a Mavic Pro, which is why I'm just like, I just need to get into FPV.
It's true, man. No, I mean,
the
sounds
first
right
time I saw FPV in person, it was a guy called Ben Finke. He lives in Paris.
Okay.
And this was in Paris as well, actually. And I was watching him do it, and I was just like I was mind blown. I was like, I need to get into this. And then he sent me the footage, because I was editing the footage. He sent me the footage, and I was just like, wow.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit, this is crazy.
For so long, the FPV drone scene was so behind the like DJI drone market.
Yeah.
Like, I remember back when it was 2016, I bought the Phantom 4 as my first drone.
Yeah.
And it absolutely changed my life. Like, it was this incredible machine that produced these incredible results. And everyone just loved it. And I remember looking at FPV drones at the time, and they were super hard to fly. They were shaky. They looked terrible. You had no control, and there was no way of using what they were.
You had to be really, really good.
Yeah, but even
like there was no like mediocre with it. Like to get good shots, you had to be good. Like that was it.
But even the people
like
that
DJI
were good,
drones.
Yeah, even the people that were good back then weren't getting like cinematic results from these drones because they were just so unstable and so shaky. And even the GoPro wasn't really capable of producing good results.
Yeah.
But today,
but now the likes of like Johnny FPV, like holy shit, like the places he's droned are places like sometimes even DJI can't get to film. Like he dive bombed the Burj Khalifa on a drone.
It's incredible.
Like,
man.
to try and get permissions to fly a drone in Dubai anyway, I've heard, is incredibly difficult. Yeah. So to fly a drone, an FPV drone, around the biggest building in the world and being the only person that's ever done it blows my mind.
Yeah, does like having a
my AirPods have changed again.
Yeah, no worries.
Why does it keep doing this? Like we were saying before, I definitely have to get the new AirPods. Right, I'm all good.
But I wonder if does the FPV drone sort of market, is that easier to get permissions to fly in certain places because it's smaller and less noisy and less obvious?
To be fair, I think a drone is just a drone at the end of the day. I just think it's easier to get a following from FPV stuff because it's so like it can be its own thing. Like you've got like these big drone pilots. Like do you follow the Drone Man Adam Crowitz. I think he lives in Sydney.
No, I've not seen him.
And then, so he did loads of drone stuff, and there was the guy that lives near Durdle Door. Is it Aaron? Does loads of drone stuff around Durdle Door.
I've not heard of him.
And they're big, but they're not like big content creators. They're like sitting around like 90, 100k. Whereas like Johnny FPV, for example, is like he's got 500,000 followers from solely doing FPV stuff.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. That is pretty cool.
I think it looks way more impressive.
Yeah, it's just so niche though, isn't it? Like I can't see me ever like using like an FPV drone on like a client job.
Yeah, I think for me, like I see myself doing it, but I think that's just because of the clients I have.
That's true. Yeah, I know what you mean.
I wish I knew FPV when I was working with Boosted.
Yeah.
That would be crazy.
That would have been really cool.
But even then, like, I'm thinking about reaching out to a different electric skateboard brand. Like, I don't want to tarnish anything if Boosted do manage to come back, because it's not a case of, oh, Boosted's gone, I'll go find someone else. Like, I would choose Boosted over someone else, but at the same time, like, the door is now open again for me in terms of work.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I can say, like, look, I used to shoot for Boosted, this is what I've produced, like, I'd love to work with you. Because there's so many electric skateboard brands now. And now Boosted isn't there anymore.
Yeah, I'm really hoping someone buys them out, because they're the whole reason that I got into electric skateboards. And I don't know, like I have like looked into other boards and other brands, but no one just quite did it like Boosted did.
Yeah, because I looked at years ago. I reached out to Slick Revolutions. Yeah, that was like the UK equivalent.
That's it, man. Yeah, so I do. I've done videos for them. They are local to me.
Yeah, and like, I just wasn't a fan of their branding. Boosted had their branding on point.
Yeah,
like everything. Like you looked at it, you just knew it was Boosted.
Yeah, no one could compete with Boosted's branding, and I think that's probably the reason why they made such a success. That and Casey. I think.
And the people they work with, yeah, Casey. The people they work with may have helped. Casey was like, I found Boosted through Casey, and I think a lot of people found Boosted through Casey.
Yeah, I mean that's.
But I'm
that's
surprised
like
Casey
favorite.
hasn't said anything about it.
Yeah, it's weird, right? You think like his favorite like brand, he would have made a video like.
Because does he still ride the boards now?
Say again.
I haven't watched his videos in a while. Does he still ride his boards now?
Yeah, of course he will. He's more or less retired now. Like he might make a video like every 4 or 5 months, but he's living in LA, just living off all the money he's made. Yeah.
Don't blame him. Don't blame him at all.
Exactly. So tell me about the Creator 19 competition.
Creator 19. Basically, I was in. You know when you like sit down one evening, like scrolling through footage you've shot, and you just get that mad like flare of creativity, and you want to do something, but like you've already edited the video, and you know it won't be as good as what you've done before, but like you just want to like outlet that creativity. I was like, I'm feeling like that, and I FaceTime a few of my mates. I was like, do you feel like just creating something? And they're like, yeah, like I'm feeling really like creative at the moment. I was like, right, 2 seconds. And like the evening, like I went like, I'm gonna say it as brutally honest as it was, I went for a shit. And I was sat there and I was like, yo. I was like, so what if I did something like my 20k collab, but everyone edits it? So we all edit everyone's footage. And then like I kind of like soft launched it on my Instagram story the following morning. I was like, so I've had this idea, like I don't know if I should do it, and like I think like 50 people replied to my story like, do this, I'm bored.
Yeah,
so I was like, alright, sick, like I'll launch it next week. So 2 days before I launched it, Ultimate Is, because I was already in talks with Ultimate Is, because I was meant to shoot some stuff for them in Dslrs, but it was all cancelled because of COVID-19.
Mm-hmm.
And so I put up my story, they reached out, they're like, we want to be in on this. I was like, okay, cool, like, what do you want to do? They're like, yeah, we'll happily give a few speakers away. So then they put a little bit of input into it to kind of like tie them in. It's like, you know where it says about you got to make a video to like your favourite song at the moment, or like uplifting song. Mm-hmm. That's like their like little input. And then, I launched it, and now like, well, I had like 90 gig of footage submitted. and there's 5 videos up already, and the deadline isn't until the 20th, and it is the 14th today. But it could maybe possibly be pushed back because the winners aren't announced till the 27th. But equally, I don't need a week to judge. So like depending on what's posted by the 20th will depend if I push it back.
Yeah, I mean,
I want to, but at the same time, I need to run it by alternators. Because like, as much as it started off as like a passion thing, like it is still very much like a passion like community thing.
Yeah.
Like now that the brand's involved, like I don't want to like screw it around and be like, oh yeah, because the deadline was the 13th, and now it's the 20th, and then I don't want to be like, oh, can I just push it over again? Because I just don't want to seem like that person and just like put stuff back.
Yeah, I didn't know it was sponsored or there were prizes, man, but that's cool.
Yeah, the best one wins one of them, like, you know, the UE, like, Mega Boom speakers.
Oh, okay, cool. Nice.
And, and they said they'll post the best 2 or 3 on their Instagram as well, and they've got, like, 160k.
Oh, cool. Nice. I'm going to have to get working now, because, I've been working on mine this week.
Do it, bro. I need to do mine, because mine's the one that's going out on the announcement of the winners. And I haven't even looked through the footage yet. I've seen your footage, Rory Kramer's footage, Jeremiah's footage, and like all my friends that submitted clips.
Yeah.
And like the occasional like the skydiving stuff. Have you seen that?
Yeah, it's incredible, man. It's so
crazy
good.
footage.
Yeah.
And then there was like a bit of FPV stuff, and like that's like the main stuff I've seen. Everything else, like I've just downloaded the folder and put it on a hard drive. So like I can't wait till like more people start posting theirs, and when people start posting theirs, I'll be like, right, I'll start working on mine now. And then I can just like sit and look through the footage, because this is how I'm actually finding the good clips.
Yeah.
I'm not like copying it from everyone's videos, but like, because I don't know what's in that folder, everyone's already looked through it. So like, I might as well just watch these videos and be like, alright, that's a sick clip. Like, I've noticed a lot of, have you seen the clip of the snorkelers at that, you know, the stone people in a circle?
Yes, that's very cool.
Yeah, I saw that in, like, I think it's, like, in every video.
Yeah,
that and the turtle is in, like, every video. And I was like, okay, looks like I've got to use that one.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what people use. Is there any, like, rules on how much of it you use and how much you don't, or...?
Not really. It's just, like, you can't add anything that wasn't in there.
Okay.
Is the only rule.
And is there...
I am for my video to kind of, like, set the scene, because, like, but, like, I'm not taking part in it. It just kind of like tell a story, so it will go back over what's gone on, and then it'll dive into my video.
Okay. Is there any rules on duration?
Up to a minute, but then like some people have pushed it like 1:30 IGTV, so I'm not like strict on that. Like you can't like bang out a 5-minute video, like that doesn't count. But like if it's like a minute and a half,
I think it's going to be interesting.
2 at the very max.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how people differentiate these edits.
Yeah.
Because
that's why there's so much variation in clips.
Kind of what I don't want to see is that, you know, hundreds of, you know,
the same
video producers do like a shit job of trying to be Sam Calder.
Yeah.
With the same footage. I mean, we know we're all guilty of that, right? Like, you know, everyone wants their edits to look like Sam Calder's, but. Yeah, to be honest...
Have you bought his Lightroom presets yet?
Say that again?
Have you bought his Lightroom presets yet?
No. I've got Peter McKinnon.
I'm tempted just to see how they work.
What they do, yeah.
I don't want to... Because I have my style now. Like, like, if I started using them, everyone would know. But, like, I want to see how they work, and I want to convert them into LUTs and see how they work. But that's it. Like, not to use, but just, like, out of genuine curiosity.
Yeah, fair play. But yeah, so my Creator 19 submission, I've come up with an idea, and it is totally different to what I just described. It's not, because I've embraced that I am not Sam Calder. You know, I'm not an incredible editor, and I have to focus on other techniques that aren't, you know, whip transitions.
To be fair, bro, your storytelling is crazy good.
Thanks,
like,
man.
I am genuinely envious of your storytelling, because like I might be able to make shit look fancy, depending like no matter what it is. I will try and make it look fancy.
Okay.
But telling a story, like I can't do it. I think that's why I don't do longer length content.
Okay, thanks, man.
Like was it your Norway video? Was it Norway?
I think the Norway video was how you found me. Or I found
that's
you,
how I
don't know.
found you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember watching it because I think I found it on Facebook.
Yeah.
Because I first found you through Facebook.
Must have been it.
And
yeah.
I watched that video and I was like, I want to do something like that, but I just can't put a story together. Like, I just can't do it. Like, in a 1 minute video, I can build up a situation. So, like, debunk video, for example.
Right.
Like, it starts off on the tube, it goes to all these places, and it ends off somewhere else. It has direction, but it doesn't have story.
I don't know. I think everyone's just different, aren't they?
I would love to be able.
Yeah, like if
I just love to be able to have like storytelling.
If I looked into like most of my inspirations, they aren't fast-paced kind of actions like editors. They are more laid back, like slower-paced filmmakers. And while that's not like the trendy sort of style that most people go for, you know, the Sam Calder look, I'd call it, but I've just embraced that I'm not Sam Calder, and me trying to look like him or sound like him, it's a waste because I'll do a shit job. And
especially especially trying to sound like someone, it's like, why would you watch someone that's like someone when you can watch them?
That's it, man. Yeah, and we all still.
I got serious CRISPR card vibes. You know, have you seen Under an Arctic Sky?
Yes. Oh my god.
That are the kind of vibes I got from the Norway video.
Yeah, thanks.
And I was like, this is sick. Like, it was a story. It wasn't just a travel video.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, like the Norway video was. I mean, at that point, I was just going on trips to capture like sick B-roll of landscapes and what we got up to, but I wasn't really able to like vlog or either like, you know, plan out a sort of a trip in that sense, but I just tried and it gave me some form of story. I wouldn't call it story, but I'd just call it, I don't know, an insight to what it was I was up to.
That video was like, still now I'm like, yo, that's a sick video.
But yeah, like looking back on like the influences I've had from video producers around the world, they've never been I mean, I have looked up to, you know, like Peter McKinnon and Casey and Sam Calder, but I came to terms with that I just haven't got the energy or the work ethic that they do. Yeah. And what really told me that was, do you know the YouTuber Cody Warner?
I don't, no.
Okay, so he is like a vlogger, kind of like Jesse Driftwood or people like that. Yeah, we met him at the Power of Video in Belfast last year, 2019, or was it 2018? I forget. And just as I met him in the street, he was like so enthusiastic, like almost like explosive with enthusiasm for the conversation that we had. Yeah. And I thought, like, on the greatest day of my life with, you know, as many cans of Red Bulls you could give me, I will never be like this guy. It's just not in my like biology to have that amount of enthusiasm or to express myself in that way. So I kind of just thought, like, you know, maybe that's okay. Like, I don't have to be like these enthusiastic American creators, you know? Yeah, it's like if you look at Rory Kramer, for example. Yeah. That guy is a madman, non-stop. I did see a podcast with him and someone else earlier. Was it on his Instagram? Yeah, and they were like, "Oh, what drugs are you on?" Like, what? Yeah, like none. What, when he was at parties, they're like, "I'm not." Jump off roofs, and he's like, "I'm not drinking. I'm not on any drugs. Like, I'm completely sober." And it's like, what? And like, I've recently watched a video from. His name is. Oh, I forget his name. I'll post the video in the show notes for this, but it's he's a photographer. He creates content about anything photography, and he's so slow paced, but he's so knowledgeable, and
It's like the Gandhi of photography.
Kinda, but like he's not like an old man or anything or boring or anything. But like he made a video about why his videos are so slow paced.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, you know, I know that being like fast paced and energetic is going to get you more views and get you more attention on YouTube. But he's like, it's just not me. I can't do it.
Yeah.
It's either this or nothing. And if you pretend to be someone you're not, even if you achieve it and people believe it's real,
it's still
somewhere
like
down the
effort
line
to put on.
Yeah, and somewhere down the line, you're going to regret that you've introduced this character to the world that's not you.
Yeah.
So you're better off just being honest and being who you are and sort of owning it, right?
To be fair, yeah. Hit the nail on the head with that.
Yeah, man.
I find it weird that like I go through stages where like sometimes I'll be that really bubbly person,
yeah,
and sometimes like I don't want any human interaction at all. Like I'll just want myself to myself doing my own thing. And then sometimes the next day I can wake up and I'm like, yo, like I love everyone. Like I will have a conversation with everyone today. And it like,
yeah, man,
especially when I'm traveling as well, because it's like some days I'll be like down to have conversations with people I've just met for hours, and then sometimes I'm just like, I just don't have it in me today.
That's it, man. That's me all day, every day. No, I mean there are some things that excite me and I can get hyped about, but I'm just not about pretending to be someone I'm not.
Yeah.
So moving on, tell me about your experience in the States, because I feel like that's a pretty good story.
Where do I start?
Well, tell us why you were there first. And then you can tell us
is this that specific trip, or just like LA in general? Okay, so
well, I don't know. Tell it how
LA
you want.
LA is a place that I've always loved. It's just I don't know what it is, and it sounds so cliche. Everyone wants to go to LA. But when I got there, I genuinely didn't feel like I was away. Like, I felt like I'd been there before. And it was weird. It was so weird. And it just felt so right. Especially because the first time I went, my only mode of transport was boosted board and Uber. So when you've boosted boarded every street in LA,
yeah.
like, there's very few places you can go where you don't know where you are. I knew, like, Venice and Santa Monica like the back of my hand. And then when I went the second time, like it was exactly the same. Like I didn't feel like I was away. Like I just got off a flight, went straight to Venice Beach, skateboarded for a bit. Like half an hour later, spontaneity got the better of me, and I ended up in a tattoo chair when I got my first tattoo. Nice. And it's just been one of them places where like I just feel at home. So when I went out in November, did the usual thing. Went out, skateboarded straight from the airport, got a Chick-fil-A, chilled on the beach. Planned a shoot in Yosemite, went to Yosemite the following day. It was the last 3 days in LA, and I thought, you know what, like, let's go on a sunrise mission. And we were going to go on a sunrise mission to Behind the Hollywood sign, and for whatever reason, we didn't go. We went to a street that overlooked downtown LA that I've already been to before. Key factor here being I've already been there. I know it's not a dodgy place, a lot of photographers go there, it's fine. But that day I went there, I had all of my camera gear stolen from the back of a car while I was in front, like at the car. And I'm never going back to that place again. Like, I just remember, so we were shooting, everything went well, we got this bomb drone shot, like above, like in line with the buildings, but not like same height, but like perspective from where we were. Like through like hyperlapse through the clouds. Like
the clouds, yeah.
Incredible.
It reminded me of like the Disney castle in
it was
distance.
Hands down still one of the best drone shots I've ever got, and I do actually have the drone shot because we went to Starbucks straight after and I backed it up onto my laptop.
Oh man.
Not to my hard drives, onto my laptop. So then we went back. This is what we shouldn't have done. We went back to the spot again. And I think we were followed. They saw us in Starbucks with laptops, cameras and everything. We got in the car and we went back to where we were shooting again. And we left everything in the car. The back of the car was like the hub of where we were. We'd go back to change the lens, everything. So we were shooting at this street and this car pulls up. This woman drives out of her driveway and says, the next street down which obviously blocks in America aren't big, like less than 100 meters. The next block down, you get a better view of what you're shooting. So I was like, okay, sweet, like we'll just have a look. We turn our back on the car for 10 seconds and walk 20 foot away. And we just hear this smash. And it was a guy, so this black car pulled up, had 3 guys in it. One guy jumped out and put a crowbar through the back window, grabbed mine and my buddy's bag, literally like this, pulled them straight out. We turned around, screamed, like literally was like, hey! And just sprinted towards them, jumped straight into the car. And the buddy I was with had just injured his foot. So he screamed,
right.
He seemed the more aggressive, but I got there quicker. I was about this far away from my bag strap and pulling it from the guy. And that's how I know he had a crowbar. And I saw that and I was like, yo, like I'm not worth the risk. And yeah, that was all of our camera gear gone. The only thing I had was my laptop, which wasn't in my bag. For some reason, I didn't put it back in my bag. I put it in the trunk with my bag on top. So it was hidden, but it wasn't in the bag. And he just pulled the bags and left. Oh, all my hard drives were in the bag. All my lenses were in the bag. All I had was my camera body, thankfully, with my cards that I didn't back up from shooting the night before. So I've got that sunset, which is the photos that went up when I made the post about it, and and my laptop. That's all I had. Like drone was gone. All my lenses were gone. Hard drives with everything I shot that year were gone. Like
you had your 1DX though, right?
But I had my 1DX on me, and I saved one of my buddy's lenses because I was shooting on his 50mm 1.2. So I saved his 50mm 1.2. But I had
you wish
no
you saved one of your own.
I was like, yo, if I had my 1635.
Oh man, it gives me goosebumps even thinking about it. Like, I know LA is so common for
smash and grabs.
Smash and grabs.
Unbelievable there. They happen non-stop.
Like, the amount of red Facebook groups I'm a part of where it's like red stolen out the back of a car in LA.
Yeah. Bro, it's got
like
to the point now where like
every now and again.
I live in a small town in Devon, and if I've gone to get fuel before driving to a shoot, I will take my bag into the place to pay for the fuel with me. Like it has fully scarred me. Like
man.
The whole incident played back through my head every time like I blinked. Like I didn't sleep for 5 days.
Oh man.
Like it broke me.
That's
almost
almost
I nearly
worse,
gave up.
right?
I nearly gave up. I nearly fully gave up.
That's almost worse than the money that you've lost.
Yeah, because I was insured. It was my hard drives.
You're like living. Yeah, the fact
my
you're
hard
living
drives
that
were
like.
something.
Oh right, okay. So did the insurance company pay out?
As much as I didn't get paid out for everything because I was actually underinsured. Everything was insured, but not if I was carrying it all at the same time.
What a load of shit, right?
Well, you know what insurance companies are like. They'll find a loophole for anything. But so like I still don't have a 24 1.4. Well, literally all I've got is a 7200, which I broke last week.
Oh man.
And my 1635 on my 1DX. I've got a new drone. I bought a new Ronin S. But like all of this stuff, luckily, I've always been kind of smart with money. Like I always have enough money to replace my equipment, just like sitting there.
Yeah.
So then, as soon as that happened, I got home. I was like, right. Went on to Dslrs. Because it was around the time of Black Friday. So I had this fat Dslrs order.
Oh man, that's mad. What I was saying, like, I've always said it's my mates, and they've laughed at me in the past about like, you know, we'll be on a trip out in Norway, right, and we'll stop at like a restaurant just to grab a quick bite, and I'll take my bag with me, and they're like, what are you doing? Like, we're in the middle of nowhere, like, and I was like, it comes with me everywhere. So tell me how the coronavirus has affected your work and how you've been keeping busy.
So pretty much everything got cancelled. All my trips got cancelled. I'm supposed to be in LA right now.
Right.
My snowboarding trip in Val d'Isere got cancelled. It's looking like everything in Croatia with Sail Week is going to get cancelled, and Ultra Festival as well. I'm supposed to be in Ultra Festival with an artist that's also doing Tomorrowland as well, which I also think is now getting cancelled. So like, everything was booked to be like crazy for like this summer and this year, and now I'm just like, maybe I'll leave the country in the next 6 months.
Yeah,
I'm a travel
I don't think
videographer
happen,
that doesn't
to be honest.
travel. So I'm like, well, just doing a load of admin stuff at the moment. Just like, I bought a new hard drive, and I'm just backing up everything onto that and just sorting everything out. Well, Creator 19's keeping me busy. Re-edits, especially for TikTok, because TikTok's banging. I think I've got over like 3.5 million views on TikTok now.
Nice, cool.
So it's just.
And are you getting like more followers on Instagram through TikTok?
Yeah, quite a few to be fair. I mean, I'm nearly at 50,000 followers on TikTok now, and I don't understand how, but but I am.
I think it's like
it's the lottery.
Twisted algorithm, but
it's not even that,
fair
bro.
play,
It's just
man.
luck.
Like,
It's the lottery. I have no idea. But other than like just doing that, learning FPV, I bought a PlayStation.
What have you been playing?
A lot of GTA, to be fair. GTA and Star Wars Battlefront.
Nice.
But other than
you should
that,
get The Last of Us.
See, I looked at it, but I don't know.
If you're not into like single player games, then bother.
It's mainly the multiplayer I like. Because like,
then don't
like
bother with Last
GTA
of
for
Us.
example, I haven't even touched the story. I just straight. I did like the prologue that you have to do, and then straight into online.
Yeah. Oh, fair
And
play.
then Star Wars Battlefront,
Let's,
I haven't even touched the campaign. I've gone straight into multiplayer.
Okay, fair play.
So
let's finish up with some rapid fire questions stolen from the Golden Hour by Dave Mays.
sweet.
Check out his podcast if you fancy it. Summer or winter?
Summer, 100%.
Sony or Canon?
Canon. They don't break.
True. Or overheat?
Yes.
Red or Ari?
Oh, red.
Okay. Mac or PC?
Mac. Didn't even need to finish that one.
I did my dissertation on Apple.
Yeah.
And
Apple
we
all
could
the
chat.
way.
I'm sure we could. iOS or Android? Obvious.
iOS.
Answered that one for you. Facebook or Instagram?
Instagram.
Yeah, cool. Not surprised by that one.
Yeah.
Bad audio or bad video?
Oh, bad. Going back to what I said, bad video, because it makes the well. It depends on the video. Like if it's a tutorial, like bad video, because at least if you watch the tutorial, you can follow along.
Yeah, true. Xbox or PlayStation?
PlayStation looks nicer on my desk.
Nice. True. Self-employed or employed?
Self-employed.
Good on you. Primes or zooms?
Zooms because I'm lazy. I'm so
Okay.
run and gun. Like if I'm gonna keep
wide.
changing lenses, can't deal.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Wide or tight
Wide.
lenses?
100% wide.
Resolution or frame rate?
Resolution. Because there's reasons why Twixtor was invented. Do you know what Twixtor is?
Okay. I've not touched Twixtor in about 5-6 years, but
Hello?
fair play. Well, you can do it inside Premiere Pro now, can't you?
Oh yeah, optical flow.
Yeah. More or less the same thing.
Yeah.
Gimbal or handheld?
Handheld.
Waffles or pancakes?
Pancakes, they're easier to stomach. You don't get that like stodgy,
I
like
think you're the first.
you know when your throat goes dry and you're like
You're the first person. I'm not had that, but fair play. You're the
just
first
eat quick,
person to
though,
say pancakes,
so-
I think.
pancakes you can eat them quicker
Fair
and I'm a
play,
quick
yeah.
eater.
And then beers or spirits?
Spirits. I can chug spirits. I am the worst at downing
What's
a
your-
pint.
Oh, fair play. What's your go-to spirit?
Grey Goose. That was ingrained in me on the first UK tour I did. because DJs always drink Grey Goose. That was the only thing on the rider. So now it's just Grey Goose.
I can
to be fair,
see
or
you.
Jaeger bombs.
Yeah.
I can hammer Jaeger bombs. Like I
Fair play,
can.
man. Well,
At my local
can see
club,
you
they're
at,
like
like
5 for a tenner, and I'll just slam them. Like my friends will go, "Oh, do you want to go halves on it?" I'm like, no. I would just 1, 2, 3, just keep going. Doesn't bother me.
Oh my lord. I can see you at like house parties, like emptying like a bottle of Smirnoff into a Grey Goose bottle.
Bro, I can't
Just
drink
to look
Smirnoff.
cool.
Literally, I will happily pay more for Goose now.
Yeah, fair play. I mean, vodka is a vile substance, so I'm not going near that.
Paint stripper.
So, yeah, we've probably got 2 or 3 minutes left. Tell me final advice for up-and-coming creators.
Do your thing. Don't compare yourself. That's a big one. Don't compare yourself, because you don't know someone else's position. And don't be scared to just try new things. Like, go against the grain in terms of content creation. Like, look at Spencer Miller, for example. Like, he takes photos and turns them into video. No one did that, and now everyone's trying to do it. Like, if you haven't seen someone do it, don't think it's because it's a bad thing. Just do it and see where it goes. Like, if it doesn't pop off, like, it doesn't pop off. You haven't missed anything. You've learned that it doesn't work. And if it does work, then you will gain interest because you're the only one doing it.
Nice one. Cool. Yeah, I think that's great advice. Spencer Miller, yeah, I think I've seen his work. I've at least heard his name.
He does loads of stuff with the
That'll be it.
Chainsmokers.
Yeah, so that'll be how you know him. Cool, man. I think that brings us to a close. Thank you very much for being my guest today, Elliot. You can find links to mine and Elliot's socials in the show notes. Feel free to subscribe and follow any of our work. Please do get in touch and let either of us know if you've had any thoughts on what we've spoken about today. Until next time, thanks for listening to Let's Talk Video.